Welcome to Mary Pitts Live presents 31 Marital Gems. Are you single, married, divorced, or dating? If you answered yes, then this is for you. Mary Pitts is a pastor, spiritual advisor, author, world-renowned speaker, and entrepreneur. Here's your host, Mary Pitts.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mary Pitts Live presents 31 Marital Gems. This is your host, Mary Pitts, and today is gem number 31. Giving up is not an option. I tell you, we have been on a journey together, and I have been tremendously blessed, and I pray that you have too. And I am so excited about my guest today. And I am just so thankful that each and every one of you have joined me today. And we are looking forward to having a fabulous time, a great conversation. But before we get into that, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information, you know what you can do. Always go to marypittslive.com, marypittslive.com. And remember, first Friday in February, that is this coming Friday, February the 5th, at 7:30 p.m., we will be having Marriage Fitness. And I am looking forward to you all being with us on that day. And I can't wait to see you. Make sure you invite your spouse. It is a free event, and we're using the Zoom platform. So if you register at marypittslive.com, you will receive your Zoom login information. All right. And we are so blessed to have Kim and Sharita Johnson that will be with us, and that will be facilitating. And I tell you, they are a powerful couple, and we're just so blessed to know them, as well as my husband. We will be present. We're looking forward to seeing you there. It is so wonderful when couples can come together. But anyway, we want to get right into our topic today, and just want to send some love to you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Maritza and Miss Clayton, thank you so much. And Yvette German, God bless you. As well as Tressa has been on this journey. Yes. And each and everyone that are watching on Facebook as well as YouTube, we thank you so much for being with us today. And so we're going to be talking about gem number 31, and truly it has been a tremendous blessing being with you. And gem number 31 is giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. And that gem has to be, is so important, because if you just start giving up, you'll start always, I say, quitting. You don't know how much when you quit in one area of your life that it impacts other areas of your life, because soon as there's so many reasons we want to quit. And we have, if you go back through all the gems, you'll see some of the reasons that we want to quit. But then also there are some reasons that let's hang in there, let's persevere, let's go through those changes and allow God to change us. And if we understand how much that if we change, that how it will change the other person, our partner. And so giving up is not an option. And one thing about it is that myself personally, I was a runner. You don't believe it, right? I was a runner. Anytime there was chaos, conflict, or confusion, Mary Pitts would run. And so I was like that prior to the marriage. So I brought that into the marriage. You would find me at a park somewhere. You would find me sitting on a church doorstep. You'll find me somewhere. I done left the place, the physical place where everything is going on, to try to go somewhere else. I never would confront it. I never would deal with it or anything like that. I just ran from it. And so, but in my marriage, God was showing me, no, you're going to have to learn how to face things. And so, because God give us power over all the powers of the enemy, he give us tools, he give us the wisdom and the knowledge and everything. But And so then when I began to run, not only it was so funny because I would leave home and God said, you should have to stop running. So then I stopped leaving home. I just go into another room. He said, you still running. Then I stay in the room. And he says, you still running. You physically there, but you gone in your mind. You're not there. And so how many times we could be physically in a place, but we're not there emotionally, mentally, anything. Our spirit, we just gone into a whole nother place. And so our spouse can feel that as well. And so I remember my husband was saying to me one time, he says, Mary, he just felt that one day I'm gone and I'm not coming back. And so I was, although I had reasons for why I would leave, but then also in that I was also planting a seed in him, planting a seed that, was going to be hard to dig up, And so after it just began to grow, it's going to turn into something that I'm not going to want in return. So I had to stop doing that and then eliminate the exit signs. I am saying that you have so many exit signs. You bring those exit signs in your suitcase when you have them just in case something happened, and you have those exit signs. And I had a lot of exit signs. I could see those exit signs. And so, okay, this is an exit, and so you have to close those exit doors, get rid of the exit signs, because it forced me to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Because you come into the marriage sometimes, well, I did anyway, come into the marriage, well, how much I'm not going to take, what I'm not going to put up, and what I'm not going to handle. I ain't going to do this, and I'll never take this, and I'll never put up with this, and I'll never, ever. And so, but not realizing love is in control and love is God. So, those are some things that I learned, that the exit signs. So when you have all those exit signs up, even when God giving you a solution, even God is giving you an answer, you won't see it. Why? Because you have exit signs. Your mind is about exiting the marriage, exiting this, and you'll be amazed that sometimes it's not even something really big, and you don't even know how you got into this particular argument. But you have to understand that sometimes these things are just happening. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and in high places, and you have to understand sometimes it's spiritual because it's coming against this higher purpose. And also I learned that it is wanting to your oneness. That is the thing. Don't worry about stealing the car, breaking this. We fuss about money, but as long as we don't come in agreement together, as long as we're not one. And so the focus is about us becoming one. And anything and everything will come to try to cause us not to be one, not to be on the same page, not always at it, never coming into agreement. And that's where our prayers are hindered. So we have to make sure, do our part. And like yesterday, we talked about those acronyms and of divorce. And so those particular things, we want to make sure that we're examining our own self. What part am I playing in this? What part? And I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit will allow you to see you. And I know we want to see our spouse, and it's so obvious we can see everything about them. But it was just amazed me how when I not stop allowing to put my emotions first and just allow God to begin to show me some things, and I start seeing some things about myself that I needed to change. And once I began to change those things, I began to see a change in the situation. So, but anyway, I am so blessed to have my guest here today. Her name is Yusan Brooks, and this year she would be married for 2 years. And her and I met through the company that we work for. And what we do is we do site selections. You need 10 sleeping rooms or more. And so we book groups. We service planners. So we service wedding planners. If you plan for your church, you plan for, whatever type of planning you do, and you need 10 sleeping rooms or more. And we do all the work for you. We save you time and money. And so we're accountability partners to each other. And so that's how we got connected. And so she is here today to join me on Mary Pitts Live Presents 31 Marital Gems. Send those hearts up and welcome Yusan Brooks. Give God praise for her as she comes. Hi, Yusan.
Hi, Mary. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining in. And it has been such a tremendous, you has been such an inspiration and such a blessing to me. And I know you always say how much I've been a blessing to you, but you have been a tremendous blessing. And so just introduce yourself to our audience. I said a little bit about you, but you know more, and just share with them. And I'm just so honored to have you today.
Thank you, Mary. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Yusan. I have been married for almost 2 years this spring. My husband Stuart and I met online, and before we got married, we have had a lot of series of serious life discussions to make sure that we're in alignment with our values and likings and dislikes, and let me tell you, we had lots of difficult conversations, and it started off as a long distance relationship. So for those audience members who are still single or still dating or doing online like I used to, I understand it's quite challenging, but I would encourage you to have as much conversations and communications as possible from early on, and just be yourself. Just be very authentic about what you believe in, and first and foremost, before we go to any relationship, make sure that you're honest with yourself and that you have a concrete relationship with God, and that's always been my starting point.
Awesome. And so our gym today is giving up is not an option. What are some of the things you saw that since you know that will cause you to get to that place of like, oh, I don't, giving up? Have you ever reached to that place? I mean, you've been married for 2 years, and just elaborate on that, or how much you want to share.
Sure. I think that is the essence of tonight's topic, and what I wanted to share with the audience. Even though we have been quite in a line with the big things, never did I expect that during COVID lockdown era that
Right.
I will be tested time and time again, working
Yes.
from home and just starting out this business, and just trying to gel as one couple, one person actually operating in collaboration is very easy to say, but when you are under pressure, when things are, when you're not feeling well, and things are not in the all the right places, it's definitely going to throw that challenge and make you question. And yes, I have to be honest, at times I felt like throwing in towels, and I think Mary was very gracious to lend me really, really good time-tested advice, which has been very valuable to me. And I think that you can never beat yourself up for things that you didn't say or you did say. In my case, it's what I said and I regret it. And I always go back and apologize, and try to restart. And in some moments, I just wish that I just push reset button and just start everything from the scratch. So what I meant to say is that this discussion that you're sharing for the last 30 days has been incredibly valuable in building that awareness. So first of all, that awareness was incredibly important to me in reflection, and continuously leaning into the higher power, God, for wisdom. And personally, I always turn to Him for strength to strength and wisdom to cultivate the temperance and that almost innate. I would say instinctively I am a control freak because I have been single for a long time before I met my husband, and I have also traveled many places. So instinctively I make decisions on my own, and I'm so used to it. So it's like I'm right-handed, so trying to write things with left hand is just not natural or kind of awkward for me. But I would ask for that guidance and wisdom to make it smooth and make it almost feel like my second nature,
Yes.
if you will. So, and just turning within myself for why I'm reacting that way, because my ultimate goal is respond, not react. And it's so hard. And that's the thing that keeps me feeling like, okay, like this is too hard. It shouldn't be this hard, this painful, this frustrating. And so, yes, it's about having that awareness and reflection and desire to better myself in that regard.
Right. That is so, just to think about it, you being married almost 2 years, and here's the pandemic and all of that. So not only you have the internal and different things that you're going to go through, but you have the pressures of the external and just really changing your whole world, and the pressures sometimes from outside, external pressures and things that really can impact our marriage and our relationships. And we have, we're with our spouses 24/7, we're at home, and it just changing everything, and it's like you're not having that space. But you know what? It's like we've been saying on this platform, is that it's about bringing awareness. And once you begin to understand, then I think it kind of relieves it a little bit, the pressure, that you understand and that you're not the only one that's there. Because you and I have talked, and you said, "Oh, Mary, how do you know me so well?" And I said, "Because I walked through it. I know you, because I've walked through it. I've been through it. I know where you at, And so the experience of it, and just like when you've gone through certain experiences, like you go into the doctor for some ailment or pain, and you all up like it's a 911, and it's like, oh my God, thinking you're gonna die and all this, and the doctor looking like nonchalant, like it's like, okay, or he's not concerned, but he done seen this before, and he know it's not unto death. But so I just appreciate you sharing, and that it is so important that just bringing this awareness. And that's why it's so important to speak with other couples and be around other couples, because you can listen to other couples just like, oh my God, and you can relate. You say, that's where I am. That's what I'm going through. And then once we go through, and the same as when you go through and come out on the other end, as you get years in, there's other people, couples or wives or different ones that you'll be able to share your experience. And you'll smile because you said, I remember I once was there. But it's all about change and not control.
It's so true. And you shared earlier on the show that you used to be the runner. Well, that's me. And I have this history of, growing up as a child. I think I moved to a different country every 3 to 4 years. Up until I met my current husband, Stuart, I continuously moved, and I took it on as a challenge, as a great experience. But at times, when relationship doesn't work out, it's also a convenient vehicle for me, because I have to leave the country and I have to start a new life, new job. So but there's no running here. And I honestly prayed for a relationship that would grow me as a person, mature me in my character, and making this relationship as a platform for growth was my foremost desire, and that was my prayer, actually. And I have never shared this with anybody, but I do want to share openly with your audience that, you know, yes, Mary, you're right. Everybody gets married for different reasons, but for some reason, something spoke to me when I met him, and I thought, this is probably the kind of partner I would go along in that path of partnership to grow together. And yes, we won't be perfect and there will be turbulences, but I felt like, yes, we can weather the storm.
Yes.
And so I said yes to marriage, but I knew when I said I do that it won't be always bed of roses. There will be considerable challenges thrown our way. So I remember how I started this relationship when things become a little shaky and when I have doubts in myself whether I can make it, you know, in the long run and all that. And then I turn within. And I think that's what I appreciate about your guests and your common theme throughout the past 1 month is that it's never about pointing finger. I mean, I have 1,000 reasons why I'm not happy about this situation and certain things. But it's about turning within and always asking myself, what am I learning from this? Why does this keep popping up? And why am I so charged emotionally? You know? And I do remember some wise people telling me, you know, everything is actually neutral. If you are reacting in a supercharged way, you might want to investigate in that. And I think marriage really for 24/7 does make you look deep within. Why is that? And like you said yesterday, what's the root of it? Why don't you want to do it? You know, certain things you have to turn within. And the biggest game changer for me is that even though I don't have the answers, even though I don't feel like doing it, and even though I don't know how to do it, just be willing and open to that possibility was my game changer. It started to soften my heart, and it started to be less reactive. It started to think one more time and sift my words before I attack. I don't know how the tiger comes out, but when we have heated fellowship, it comes up, and I don't know where. I'm like, woo. But anyway, just be willing when I feel stuck and I don't know what to do. And maybe somebody needs to hear that message, but that always came strong to me. And when I sat here thinking that I will come on your show, I just wanted to share, yes, when those moments hit, when you just want to give up, just ask yourself, why do I feel this way about these things? Why does it bother me? What are the root cause? And just be willing. You know, if you feel that this relationship is worth it and that it's a great growing tool for both of you, then just be willing and evolve from there.
I love that about you're saying being willing, because once you have that willing heart, and even although you may not have the answers or the solution, it opens you up and calls you to be able to search for it, or either when the answers come, you're sensitive to receive and to accept, even if it's something to say, hey, I need to change in this area. But when you're not willing, then you close up and you're you're set in your own way, and you get into the right and the wrong, and it's either my way, and people say it's either my way or no way at all, but it's either it's either God's way or no way at all, but it's either God's way or God's way, because God is going to have his way. And so I thank you for sharing that insight, because being willing and having that desire, because God bless our desire. I want to know why is this same thing keep coming up? Mm-hmm. And so it's evident that something hasn't been resolved, and you have to get to the root of it. And a lot of times we deal with the surface of things, and so it's still coming up. When that root is still there and we haven't addressed it, it comes up in different forms. And so it'll look different, but it's the same spirit, it's the same thing. And so we must recognize that, and then God will some kind of way give us insight and have someone come into our life, and as if he joined us together, and like I say, that God always used the obvious to bring us together, but the main reason is yet to be revealed. And so I just appreciate you sharing that. And through this these 31 gems that we have shared. And I tell you, although my husband and I have been married for 31 years, we're still growing and we're still maturing. And that was my desire, was, God, I want someone that loves you as much as I do, or even more, that we can go and grow together. A lot of times couples get stuck from where they're started, and it's like, well, you changing. Well, we're supposed to change. We're changing from one glory to another. We're changing, I am totally different person than, when I first got married when I was 27. And so I'm learning things, that my priorities changed, things that were so important that I feel like, oh my God, if I didn't have it, or we didn't do it, it was a death sentence. But now my value system have changed, and I've grown and I've matured. And I thank God for the wisdom. And so and so it's easy to give up. It's easy to throw in the towel. It takes no wisdom to do that. And so what happens is, when you start giving up, I remember my daughter was in this volunteer program, and she didn't, she wanted to give up, and she wanted to give up because she's like, I'm not making any money. I'm not gonna. And I told her, I said, you'll understand it later. You have to understand that we don't see the value in something. And so only thing she can value was money, but she didn't see the value in her volunteering for that organization. And so at the end of it, she didn't realize that they gave her some money towards her schooling and all of that. It came later. So what am I saying? Sometimes you may not see the value. And I told her, I said, if you quit now, you'll be quitting the rest of your life. And so every time when something get hard, and that's what we do. When it get hard, we feel like it's hard. And so what you have to understand is that, why is it hard? Why do you think it's hard? Why, the Bible says the way of a transgressor is hard. In other words, when you're trying to go away that God is not ordained for you to go, you're trying to go your own way. It's about what you want and how you want it. And so just like that transition, you were saying that you've been single and now you're married, and that change, and so we talked about that, going through changes, because when you say I do, it doesn't mean that your single ways and just being by yourself for those number of years just go out the window. And so you're becoming one. And so you have to work. You have two people coming from two different backgrounds. And so to our audience, we just want you to know that giving up is not an option. And so we don't try. Have we tried? We'll say, well, I tried everything. Really? Really? Come on, be honest with yourself. Have you tried everything? You tried what you want to do. And so, yeah, but have you tried what God say do? Have you heard what he said and be willing, obedient unto his voice and what he's telling you to do?
Yes, you said it beautifully. It's part of the maturing process, and in order to mature, we all go through some heat, and the best example that I can give you right now to encapsulate our conversation is somebody made this comment about chocolate chip cookie, and it's one of my favorites. So I have to say, I have to share this.
Right.
It's like, two people come together, two very different substances, dough and chocolate, just chips. And you have to go into some high heat oven to melt together and be that delicious, crispy chocolate chip cookie. But the process is like in the beginning, you're feeling like, hey, why did I sign up for this? This is like way too much, and I feel like the integrity of myself is being changed because you have to melt in the high heat oven and your alchemy changes. But you know what? In the end, the outcome of all that is that you become one delicious, crispy, absolutely satisfying cookie that it's just what I'm trying to say is definitely is the process. Trust the process. It's going to come out right. It's going to come out delicious. It's just that we don't see that when things get tough. We want to get out. It's part of the human nature. Nobody wants to be under pain and frustration. So just to get some pressure off of me, I always look to that analogy of chocolate chip. Oh, is this the part where you have to endure that heat? And I have to take this process to see through the real change in me for the better for both of us. And so, yeah, I do have this self-talk and prayers, and yes, having that direct connection with God, with the source, is of paramount importance, because my ego speaks when I want to say something. I want to say it in the timing I want, the intensity I want, and the usage of wordings is all up to me, and that can be a weapon that can really hurt somebody, and neither do I want to hear that from somebody I love. So I always look to God for wisdom and help me cleanse my thoughts and sift my words, choose words wisely with the right intensity at the right time. And I think that your message has definitely reinforced my belief in the way I communicate to my partner. So that has been the thread or the key to accessing my partner's heart. Choosing words wisely, the timing, and in a loving place. That doesn't happen automatically. Unfortunately, I really have to work at it, and I always have to seclude myself, step back, reflect, go back. Sometimes I shouldn't say anything at all, and it let things just sort it out by itself. Or sometimes I just have to wait and be patient and say it in the right way from love. So that is the wisdom that I have obtained in the past less than 2 years. I'm still working on it. I still make lots of mistakes every day, but I still get up and try again, and try again with better attitude, and hopefully it becomes my second nature at some point. So your program has helped me incredibly in that journey. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusan. I just really appreciate, and you're welcome. It's always been my honor and my desire, and to be a blessing to each and every one. And whatever I go through, whatever wisdom, whatever that I have that can help someone else, that's what I want to be, just that, a blessing. I just love the analogy about the chocolate cookies, because as you were speaking, I just thought about that the chocolate and the dough. the vision was chocolate chip cookies, and they came together to be something that was bigger, that they couldn't be by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so both want chocolate chip cookies, but they had to come together. And so one need the dough, the other need the chocolate. And you know what? And then they had to go in the heat in order to, and so it's through those times, challenging times, that and I say a lot of times we have to just redefine pain, because we always look at it as a negative, and but certain things, had you not gone through, you wouldn't have. And it's not so much a pain. That's just like you taking a test for school. The test isn't to show you how dumb you are. It's to show you how much you've retained. Yeah. And so it's your perspective and how you look at it. And so and I often say, woman in travail, bringing forth a baby, that's good pain. We're going to press through that. And so that's why you have to have a vision. Like you were saying, the vision was chocolate chip cookies. So what is the vision of your marriage? What is the vision and so because that let's say you set in a goal that we want to purchase a home. Well, you make sacrifices. We're not going out to dinner all the time. No, we're not going to this movie. We're not going to do this. Why? And it seemed painful to you, but it's for a good cause, because the ultimate goal is we're saving. We want to take this money and put it towards our home. And so that's why we have a vision. But if you don't have a vision or know why, then you will give up. You want to throw in the towel. You think it's not worth it. And so, but I encourage you to our audience. We're so thankful that you have joined us. And I don't know where you are in your marriage or in your relationship. I encourage you, just to hang in there and and I pray that some of these gems have blessed you, inspired you, and we're quick to look at the other person, our spouse, and but in this, I look to begin to examine myself and see what play that I had in it. There's things where you were talking about choosing our words wisely, and then the timing of those words. And then sometimes it's not for you to say anything, but they're in that heated fellowship. We just feel, I just gotta say it. I just been holding back too long. I just gotta say it. And sometimes because we think we're being taken advantage of, or we're being used, or I'm not gonna take this, and your mind make you think, oh, you're so weak, and you just put up with. If I was you, you have to shut your mind down. You have to begin to capture those thoughts, because it run haywire and cause you to start responding and stuff. And so one thing I learned too, Yusan, is patience. I had, the Bible says tribulation workers patience. I had no patience. God said, I'm doing it, but you're just not patient. You patient. You want it now. You want it right now. You want it done right now. You want him to move right now. You want everything right now. And so I had to really learn, patience, because sometimes God said, hold it. And I had to just shut it. And then I begin to see it works itself out, or either, got some kind of way. My husband brought it, and I didn't have to bring up the conversation. He brought it up and just talked, I'm going to do this and start doing this within myself. And so we don't always have to be pointing the finger. When we point the finger and constantly, then we have fingers coming back at us. So we don't want to be pointing the finger constantly, acknowledging all their flaws or everything of what we think is a flaw anyway, but choosing our words and learn love words. And we have to learn love words. And sometimes we don't know that, and we be sarcastic and we throw off and we say things out of term, and so, but anyway, we want to encourage you. This platform is to encourage you, because we have mastered starting relationships, and we have mastered quitting, and but the question is, how do we maintain relationship? And so that's where I am today, is how do we maintain relationship? And that is going to require a change on our part.
Yes, absolutely. It all starts from there. and that's going to trickle down to every facets of your life. So once you have that, that solid groundedness within yourself, and learning to not just maintain, but hopefully we thrive and we nourish each other with words and love, and it just keeps building up from there. And then you could actually see how it extends to your other relationships with your work, with your friends and your family members, and everything, your health. But it's a very tricky thing to master, because we're so quick to go back to our old ways. And if you know, or you're wise enough to stop that pattern, or to recognize that pattern and just hold it there for a moment and dig from within, I think you can change the outcome tremendously. So again, having that awareness, know where your pitfalls are, and know where you react to a certain situation in a moment. I think that's the key. That's the starting point. And just believe that you're willing to go through some changes. You're willing to be tested. You're not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Forgive yourself and start over again. And I can guarantee you can almost feel your partner's heart softening up, and picks up his stuff without me having to tell him to do it. Just some miracles like that happen. And I said, oh, thank you, God, for doing this and not making me a nagging wife and micromanaging. I do not want to be that person, nor do I like to have somebody do that to me. So just be patient. That's been my major life lesson as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I tell you, we have had a wonderful time of sharing and caring today, Yusan, and I greatly appreciate you coming on and sharing your insight as well as your wisdom and things that you have learned and gained as well, and the changes that have taken place. And I just appreciate you, and I thank God for our relationship. And you have been such a tremendous blessing as well. And Yusan and I, we get together every Wednesday. Yes, every Wednesday, and make sure that we connect. And so it has been such a tremendous blessing. And so you want to have some accountability partners. You want to have, and it's good to have friends and have people that's going to give you the truth, and not going, girl, I wouldn't take that. You need to put, and stuff like that, that really going to give you some wisdom and some truth and things like that. And so we encourage you today that, get rid of those exit signs, because as long as you have those exit signs there, and long as you keep, every time that you have a heated fellowship, every time you have a disagreement or argument or some challenges, you throw up the D word, divorce. And that is not happening at all. All you're saying is that, you're not trying to change. You're not trying to work things out. And you know what? You need to get someone else involved. After 31 years, my husband and I still get counseling. We still go and get counseling. It don't have to be because something is happening. We don't meet as frequent, but, we try to do once a month or something. So just to maintain, and so a lot of times we get to what we call better, and then we just relax. And like you were saying, sometimes we go back to our old ways, because, it's gotten better now. No, what God want to take you beyond what you consider as better, right? And so it is a constant change. And you know what? Celebrate each other, and One of the gems we were saying, count your wins, count your win. You have to realize that you're both on the same team and you're in it together, and that you're not wrestling against it. Your spouse is not your enemy, but your mind, and make you think that, make you think. First, you have to understand that, okay, that things that is shared is not coming from a place of I'm not your enemy. And so when you have that mind that they're your enemy or they're not for you and not, and so how you react is totally different than how you need to respond. And so you have to understand we're on the same team. We're in this together. We just going through learning how to work together. And so you can be together for years, or you could be together, been dating for a long time and all of that, but you haven't actually worked together, done some things together. So try doing some things together. We found ourselves one in this room, and when you have so many different TVs in your room, everybody on their cell phone and mobile phone and in their different spaces, when do you come together? Because you're in the same house, it doesn't mean that you're together and you're doing things together. You have to work together, do some things together. And so even during the pandemic, my husband, he went grocery shopping and come back with a game, some games and all of this. So the game calls us to come together, and we laughed and videoed each other and just, had fun. And so don't forget that, have fun, and Dr. Simmons was on the other night, and she was saying that, she said, she gave us the acronym CAB, and she said court again, and then she says, have accountability and, set boundaries. So you want to set those things in place in order that it's not automatic. It's intentional. It's being intentional. And so what's important to you is intentional. You put it on your calendar, you write it down. And like I told y'all before, not only I put it on my calendar, my husband's like, your timer is going off again. That lets me know, hey, I got Merida Gym coming up, and I have to go off on a certain time. And then I was, sitting there just waiting and waiting. I kept nodding out. So I set it again for about the timer again so I don't go off to sleep. But you have to set those things. Why? Because it's important to me. Merida Gyms coming on, being with you was important to me. So other things, being at the time for church service, or sometimes we have business calls and Zoom calls and stuff. So it's important to me. And I'm saying that to the other person who's involved, that, hey, it's important for me. We're important. So when I do that and be intentional, I'm letting my spouse know it's important. So if I can schedule and do all those things in those other circles, then I should be able to do that with my spouse as well, and set whatever, to be intentional and put those things in place, that whatever, you're working on something, you going past the time, I put a timer, because I can get grossed into one thing and forget, like myself, sometimes I remember we talk about a person's birthday all month long. And then when the actual day of the birthday, I completely forget until the next day. And I'm like, oh my God, and so you have to be intentional. If you need to use sticky notes, do that. Whatever you do in order that you and your spouse can thrive, that you can grow together, mature together. Because if you give up now, you will never see your answered prayer. You will never see what God promised you. You will never see, the first gem was, even God ordained relationships will cause you to go through some changes. So, God brought you together. Yes, there's another gem, say, did God really join us together? You will go through those challenging times. You will go through those times, but listen, if you persevere, if you embrace change, if you be willing, like you son say, you will enjoy everything that God showed you, everything that God, because he don't tell you everything. You just see all the good stuff, and so you still be all the honeymoon, right? But I'm telling you, if you do not give up and you don't throw in the towel and allow God to do what he needs to do on the inside of you, I am saying you will eat the good of the land. You will be so pleased that you did. So I'm going to ask you, Son, do you have any final words you'd like to say to our audience? If you love to share how they can connect with you, if they would like to do so, you feel free to do that. But give us some final words.
Yes, I want to first of all thank Mary for sharing the 31 gems, the time-tested wisdom that she had openly shared with all of us, and blessed her. Bless you for not just sharing, but always encouraging us, and
Yes.
just putting your pouring your heart into sharing this message every night. Every night, it's been a blessing to me. And I want to thank you and your guests and your audience for the support. And I do want to leave you with this final word that you share with us, that it takes a village to raise a child. But I think it takes a global community to not just keep the marriage together, but to thrive, and for all of us to grow through the storm, and just come out better. And I love one of your guests sharing her wisdom about, don't view negative, only negatives, what you have to sacrifice and compromise and all that. I think if, I do think it as a personal challenge and maturing tool to be in the marriage, and work things out together in a way that God intended us to do, to achieve bigger and better things. Because like you said, we have a higher, bigger purpose. And I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. So I do want to say I am truly blessed to be here with you all tonight. And you're always welcome to connect me through my email. I can type it in this chat, Facebook or LinkedIn, however you like to connect me with. And I would love to also know what your journey has been, because we can always share and grow together. And so thank you.
You're welcome, Yusan. Thank you again. It's been my pleasure. And to our audience, I thank you so much for your love, prayers, and support. And remember, First Friday, feel free to connect with us. Go to marypittslive.com for Marriage Fitness at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And register there, and you'll receive your Zoom login information. So again, Yusan, thank you so much for sharing and caring tonight. I really appreciate you. Y'all send those hearts up for Yusan today for coming and joining us, and being such a tremendous blessing, sharing her story, sharing her wisdom, her transformation. And that's what it's all about, us sharing and caring for one another, because we're all in this together. And just like she said, it takes all of us I tell you, had it not been for all the people that God allowed to cross my path to be a blessing and encouragement to us, to help us on this journey. So we appreciate you together. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And remember, if I can be of any of service to you, feel free to reach out. I do offer through Wisdom Connectors. I have an organization, wisdomconnectors.com, wisdomconnectors.com. And if you go to marypittslive.com, you will see, hit the connect button tab, and you will see the logo for Wisdom Connector, and just hit that. And that's where I offer those services for relationships, because I'm about building astonishing relationships, building and maintaining relationships, and more information is there. And so thank you all again. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Joni, for joining me. Thank you for Miss Clayton. Thank you, Miss English, and thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Miss German. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for coming on and just being a blessing, and for your continued support. Marion Hester, thank you so much. Thank you, Sylvia, as well. And I just appreciate all of you that have come on, and appreciate our guests that have come on and shared today. All right. So we're going to close out. We said that we would go a little bit longer tonight because it's our last gym. But you know what? Stay tuned and make sure you like Mary Pitts Live Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll be sending you a notification and posting real soon about what we'll be up to next. All right. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your love, prayers, and continued support. All right. Have a good night.